All right, we're back another Saturday at noon with the Watchdogs on our Black Media Network. And Julius, I think you got a beautiful guest, but tell us who she is.
Well, that's Ms. Monica Boles. She's the candidate for the 8th District County Commission seat. So, Ms. Boles, welcome to the Watchdogs. We're happy to have you here today.
Thank you, gentlemen, for having me. Appreciate it.
Okay. So we want to start off by just letting you tell the people who you are, where you're from, who your people are, what high school you went to. Give us a few minutes and tell us all about you.
All of that. Well, I am Laureen Monica Boles. I am a native of Savannah. I am a graduate of St. Vincent's. I'm a resident of Carver Village, born and raised. And I received a scholarship to Howard University. Wow. And that's where I left Savannah to earn a bachelor's degree in civil engineering. I spent 28 years as a stormwater engineer, which is very important to our communities. Yeah. We often talk about flooding issues and other land use issues that impact our communities. So I spent 28 years as a stormwater engineer. I contributed to the Clean Water Act. That was my first job when I got out of Howard University. So, and then I also earned a master's degree in city and regional planning. So wow. I spent another 5 years as a nonprofit executive director. And I'm mostly working on environmental justice issues. Another set of issues that's so important to our communities because we're so heavily impacted. Yeah, so that's my people.
Before we go even further, I just want to shout out, I'm also, a lot of people don't know this. I did one semester at Howard, so I'm technically a Howard alum.
Okay.
I followed one of my good friends, Jeffrey Johnson, up there, but I started Georgia Southern. So Statesboro to DC was quite a lot, but good to meet another Bison.
All right. Well, great to see you. Yes, absolutely. Always, once a Bison, always a Bison.
Hey, I can do it all. I try to do it all. Let's say that.
That's right. Yes. So, a lot of people aren't surprised that I studied engineering, especially water engineering at Howard, because my grandfather, they came out of Yamacraw Village and moved to Carver Village in the 50s. And he worked at the Army Corps of Engineers on the Savannah Riverfront. And so that's where I spent a lot of time. And so they weren't surprised that that's the field that I chose.
So who are your people and what high school? Oh, you already told us.
Yeah, she's St. Vincent's, which is very unusual. Very unusual. We haven't met candidates that came from private school go play.
Yeah, we're not going to hold that against you because the best school in the whole Chatham County would be Woodville Tompkins.
I thought he got a W right.
Hold that against you.
Do you believe it?
It's Windsor Forest. He meant to say Windsor. He got the W right.
He got the W right. In fact, I went to the labor union fish fry last weekend or weekend before, and everyone I talked to started spouting the names of people that they know who went to St. Vincent's, right? So I was in good company.
What year did you come out?
I'm sorry?
What year did you come out of St. Vincent's?
1980.
Okay. 80, okay.
Yeah, 80.
We came out the same time. I came out of Woodville, out of Tompkins High School then. My mother went to Woodville Tompkins. I went to same school. And now it's back named Woodville Tompkins.
Yeah.
So you had the generations flop over the course.
That's right.
Of decades.
My mom was in that group, the Woodville Tompkins conversion. But I was at Savannah State kindergarten. That's where I started my HBCU career. It was at Savannah State kindergarten, and I was still in Carver Village then. I told you about my grandmother. My grandfather. Let me tell you about my grandmother because I would be remiss. So she was a domestic for the Curry family from Curry Cleaners, and we got to know a lot of people. We got to know a lot of people, diverse communities in and around Savannah.
Oh, okay. And so are you related to the Boles out of West Savannah? Nate Boles and
we have some Nate Boles in our family, but I don't know that I've met them. I met some at at the fish fry, and we were going to try to find out if there's a connection or not, because it's a BOLES is a very strange spelling. You'll see BOWLES, BOLDS. So most of the ES are related. BOLES are related to each other.
Yeah, I grew up with some Boles that spelled their names like that, and Fairwood Homes area in West Savannah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
yeah.
Awesome. So, tell us, why are you putting your hat in the ring for this seat?
Oh, absolutely. So I'm in my 5th year on the Metropolitan Planning Commission, and I get to weigh in on zoning issues, but I don't always get a lot to say about the infrastructure. Whether, I have to follow the law. So I'm approving or disapproving projects based on their merit, but not in conjunction with the infrastructure, the capacity that's available for the development that's being proposed. So I wanted to make sure, and I've often talked to those at the Planning Commission about how do we make the changes that we need. Do we need to change the charter so that we can weigh on the infrastructure? That's mostly my background. Wow. So I want to bring that wealth of experience to this seat so that I can talk about city planning as a whole, what our city looks like as a whole, including the infrastructure projects. So I have reviewed, I was a member of the Planning Commission who reviewed the comprehensive plan, but I don't actually, like I said, I don't actually get to weigh in on whether a project is approved or not because of whether there's infrastructure of capacity or not. So that's why I wanted to run.
That's awesome. I definitely would love to spend some time with you and learn from you. Now, I'm big on infrastructure as we look at cities like Savannah, as well as you spoke about environmental justice. So in my thought process of maybe re-entering that space of running for Public Service Commission. But the one thing I want to ask you is, what do you see as the vision for Savannah when it does come to infrastructure? I think we are way behind time, and so what does that look like?
I think we need to find a balance, right? Because we're all for economic development and prosperity, but we need to find a balance. And I don't know that we're doing it right now. So we need to, and that's the biggest thing that we need to do. I have hosted a Clean Ports Conference before, and that's what we focused on. Gotcha. We talked about how important the ports are to our cities and the wealth that they bring to us, but we want to also balance it with the livability for its residents. So we have to talk about traffic and all those things that come with that growth. And some of that, it's just a part of educating ourselves, the community, the port community. And I did speak with a couple of young ladies who just got hired at the ports, as a matter of fact, within the last year. And I asked them if they were a clean port. And she said, oh, yeah, absolutely. And how do you know about that? This was at the Carver Village meeting. And wow. I said, no, I've hosted a conference before. So,
oh, wow.
So we're going to have a deeper conversation about that.
I think that we're behind the times. We're lagging in this part of the state because the infrastructure is important, because it does tie up traffic. But what people have to understand is that growth is sometimes painful. We have to grow or we'll be behind.
That's right.
We have to not think about how we're inconveniencing traffic. We have to think about how, when the finished product is presented 5 to 10 years from now, how it will affect our children and our grandchildren and their children for the years to come. We want to make sure that there's not only the adequate transportation network, but the services.
That's right.
Ambulance, police, all the conveniences that every area has. Pooler is a prime example. Pooler was nothing but woods. Right. But look at it now.
Right.
When you and I were growing up, there wasn't no Pooler.
There wasn't Pooler.
Yeah. It was woods out there.
Yes.
It was a Pooler, but it was woods. And look at it now.
That's right.
Everywhere that they can put something, they're putting it, and it's helping to build that city. You just have to travel at the right times, I guess, to get there. There's no more mom and pop where you're going to be in the country riding around. you want that, you got to go to Effingham. You got to go to
Bryan County
or somewhere, right? You know.
And then, and one way that we can tackle that, I've seen either restricted roads for truck traffic, so it's really only for residents, or there are times there are roads just for trucks, and then there are times when there are also times when it's just roads for residents. So because we don't want to see trucks coming down our neighborhood streets, right? But we have to know that when we're out on the main road that we might run into some truck traffic. And maybe we can talk about truck routing so that there's not such a great impact too.
Yeah, that's good. We got somebody that can think like you, running for the seat. But I got 2 or 3 issues. It's one issue, but there's 2 or 3 locations that it needs to be addressed at. And that is the railroad crossing at Rose High School.
Yes.
In Garden City.
Yes.
The one on President Street.
Yes.
Toward Tide. Those are 2 critical points in the county, and it has to be addressed. I know we had the commissioner on here a couple of years ago talking about this same issue, because you could sit there in traffic for 45 minutes and then traffic is backed up from Port Wentworth to West Savannah.
That's right.
And
I've been stuck in both of them. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, and they were saying that it's going to cost $50 million to clear it up. Well, that's what we pay taxes for.
That's right. That's right.
Somebody needs to be working on this now. Lives are at stake also, because those calls for service from the ambulance and the police can't get through because the train is sitting on the track for 25 minutes.
Yeah. That's right. And there's a third one on Louisville Road at Telfair.
Yeah.
That's another. I've been stuck in all of those. So in fact, I had the American Institute of Architects come and do a plan for our most disadvantaged communities on the West Side. And on the day we did a tour with them, they brought people from around the country. It's an awesome program. We got stuck at each and every one of those train tracks.
Oh, wow.
Every time. So they got to see firsthand what we were talking about. Right. So, yeah.
Well, let me ask you all this, and more importantly, Ms. Boles, we now look at the, the city council, and especially our councilman over here, who can't get the fairgrounds together, but they want to now build more housing, right? So now where does that stormwater go? And what gets me, as you were talking, I was thinking about, at what point will we in this city understand that we got to find a place for the water to go? So when we build, right, we let these developers have their way. They now are impeding upon areas where that water used to drain. But that's the one issue I would love to hear from you about. And number 2, what's your opinion on multi-county rail? We are right now at a capacity, I think, almost close to where Atlanta was when MARTA came on board. And so when will we look at a system where we have multi-county rail that goes all the way up to maybe Bullitt County, comes around Bryan, Liberty, up through Scranton to Chatham? So I think we're there, but what are your thoughts on those 2 issues?
Oh my goodness, let me tell you. So on the first one about stormwater management for projects where we right now don't have a place for stormwater to go, there are cisterns you can put underground on roofs. I worked on a project with Lowe's. Shout out to Lowe's, right? With Lowe's Home Improvement Center. They actually built a cistern to store all of the stormwater off of their parking lot in their building, and they used it in the garden center, right? So they use a lot of water for that on a daily basis. So you can actually store the water and send it out at a time when there isn't a storm, so there's not overflows, or you can reuse that water in another capacity. And then you asked about transportation. So that was my multi-county rail was my master's thesis, right? So we looked at no joke.
I think we got a mayoral candidate.
I worked on, it was called the Plan for 2050 for America, though. So there were about 15 of us working on the plan. We were in Philadelphia at University of Pennsylvania, but this concept got picked up by universities across the country, and Georgia Tech is who picked it up in this area. We talked about just what you're talking about, multi-county, right? So we talked about transportation, what cities should be working together our purpose was to build more economic opportunities in regions. And so it's called the Mega Regions Project, Plan for 2050, America 2050. We linked from Boston to, I think it was Richmond, Virginia, so they could have high-speed rail, right? And there's a good portion of that already has high-speed rail, especially between DC and New York. Then there was some out in I think down on this end, it was Atlanta, Chattanooga, and I can't remember the other states. So yeah, we were talking about regions, cities that had a lot to offer. And if they were linked by high-speed rail, we can improve our economic prosperity across the nation.
Awesome. Well, we're going to take a quick commercial and we'll be right back.
Absolutely.
And we'll get a couple of more questions out of you.
Okay, sure.
Hello, I'm Richard Coleman, and I'm running for the office of Sheriff of Chatham County. And when I'm elected, I promise to inspect what I expect. Chatham County, it's time for a change, and that change is me, Richard Coleman.
Transformative, that's what Sonia Jackson is. Creative, that's what Sonia Jackson is. Compassionate, that's what Sonia Jackson is. Leadership, that's what Sonia Jackson demonstrates. Dedicated, that's what Sonia Jackson is. In Chatham County, there's never been a tax commissioner like Sonia Jackson. She has made the office more accessible, more consistent, more convenient, and more service-friendly. Let's keep Sonia Jackson while she takes the tax commissioner's office to new heights. On May 21st, cast your vote for a great public servant. Vote Sonia Jackson for tax commissioner.
All right, we back. I was going to ask you what makes you think that you're the better candidate, but hell,
right. you got my endorsement. I don't even live over there. I'm going to up for you.
I don't think the other two candidates can even stand in your light. You're the most qualified for that position. I mean, if we're going to go with somebody who's going to go in there and try to help elevate the commission. One of the things that I want to do, I want to make sure that you're a leader and not a follower.
Yeah.
You get people in these positions and then once they get in, they want to follow everybody and then go along just to get along, instead of being the leader for the people, not worrying about whether you are going to be reelected or not, or whether you're going to be elected or reelected, or whether people are going to like you. What you're there to do is what's right for the community, especially our underserved communities.
Right. Oh, no, certainly not a follower, right? So from the beginning, I am an only child, right? So already not a follower. But I have, I thought about times when I have voted against gone against the popular vote. I never consult with the person who sent me to the MPC. We might talk about what we think are the important aspects of a project. And then, she'll say, this is what I think, right? And then, but you have a voice, you have your own voice. Go ahead and vote the way that you want to vote. And I have gone against the popular vote and I've gone against her vote. So I'm certainly not a follower.
Okay. Robert?
Yeah, no, I think I can agree with everything. I am very impressed. I think honestly, and I'm not just saying this, of all the candidates, including myself, in the last 2 years, you are ready for this role.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I so appreciate that. Yeah. From your lips to the voters' ears. Right?
You can use that clip. I'm extremely impressed.
Well, the thing is, who's running your campaign?
Me. And I have some friends who are behind the scenes. They have full-time jobs. And so I've been doing a lot of work.
Well, I see your signage up all over and it looks awesome. Yeah. Your signage looks like, it's very well put up like I used to do it back in the day. even though we advanced to a different method now. But I got some people that you probably want to talk to, because if it goes into a runoff, which I think that it will be in that particular race, I'm hoping that you could win straight out, because I like your resume.
Thank you.
But if it's a runoff, you're going to really have to really get back out there and do that work, that grunt work, because it's hard getting people to go back out. But I think, well, they're not going to wait, Robert, until that runoff will be 30 to 45 days later, right, or something like that.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's correct.
So because there's 3 names in it, the 3 of y'all that are in it, your two opponents and yourself. And I'm in politics. None of them are really heavyweight. None of them are really they're not coming on with us, Robert. None of those, they're not real heavyweights. But none of the 3 of y'all, being that because I'm in politics, so I would tell you that, well, y'all are. But
that's right.
That's why I figure it's going to be a runoff, and so we'll see in about 30 less than 25 days or something.
That's right. That's right.
Robert, you got another question?
No, I think I'm good. We can maybe have you back though on another show. But pleasure to meet you, and hopefully we can work together, or I can learn some stuff from you, especially around your environmental justice part.
Well, I got a couple of more questions.
Okay.
I'll guess they scheduled to come on in about 6 minutes. Did you give us a couple of things that you were ready to work on as soon as you? I wasn't listening good. Did you give us two?
Right. So in fact, just like you said, I hope my platform speaks to my experience. So certainly environmental justice, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was Senator Cory Booker, who sent the Environmental Justice Act in its draft form to my office, and a team of us worked on it together. We convened at least 20 or 30 environmental justice leaders from around the country. And the language that I contributed, if you can guess, it was infrastructure. It was equal access to infrastructure. And so that was, I spoke about everything from hog farms in North Carolina, right? Because they were more concerned about land management and the exposure from toxins there. The act was already heavy on air quality, and I also included some language on citizen science and citizens engagement and stormwater management. So environmental justice is one platform. Housing, our ability to thrive in place. I've raised $13 million through my church to build 75 units of affordable housing. And then lastly, economic inclusivity. So I've raised funds also for economic development programs. So economic inclusivity, housing security, and environmental justice.
Okay, awesome. And the last question is this. I talked to a number of people who were interested, but none of them had made an effort to do it yet. And that is to form a coalition of leaders, of local elected leaders, so that they can get together and talk about the issues concerning the underserved communities. And I had one person that said that they were going to do it. Maybe he'll do it after this election, and just get a roundtable with all the elected officials from all the municipalities. Put them all in the room instead of partying. They do that to party now. They do have something. They do have something where they go and party, and each one of them are hosted every month or every 2 months or whatever. But to really talk the issues for the underserved communities, such as the district you're running from.
That's right.
District 8 is underserved, and we need these people in there talking about all the issues. Get everybody in, all the elected officials, and we need to be addressing all the issues that's concerning all of Chatham County.
Absolutely.
And they're not doing that now. Everybody's working Chatham County Commission is working on their own. The city council for every city, all 8 cities, are working on their own. The state reps are working on their own. Nobody's working together. And we have that organization where everybody can come together and say, okay, we're going to work on this issue in this district now. We built up the 4th district. We built up the 6th district. We built up downtown in Savannah in the 2nd district. Let's go out to the 8th district. Let's see what we're going to, because everybody's paying taxes. So everything has to be addressed, even and especially that bridge that needs to be built, that overpass that needs to be built for for traffic at Rose and Louisville Road and going out to the beach. Those are 3 key spots in our city, hot spots where traffic needs to flow. But anyway, we're glad that you came, and in the last minute or 2, please, we got 2 other guests waiting on us. Tell us, you can give us your closing remarks, but also tell us how somebody can volunteer on your campaign or how they can donate to your campaign.
Okay. And I think you hit on something when you're talking about this coalition, and maybe it's not that we work in our silos, whether it's a city council in your city or a county or even at the state level. Why don't we tackle it on issues? And it sounds like the biggest issue is transportation. We can all agree that we need to be working on that. And I think we just need to find some synergies about what do we agree on and how do we push that forward. But anyone can find me on Facebook, Laureen Monica Boles for 8th Chatham County Commissioner. I also have an Axe Blue account, Laureen Monica Boles for 8th Chatham County Commissioner. And my telephone number, email address, 267-207-1558, and Laureen Boles at gmail.com.
Okay.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay,
I appreciate
we hope
you
to have you back, especially if there's a runoff and you're in it. We're hoping that you can get in there. Just call my name when you're in West Savannah. Hopefully.
I will do that. I will do that.
So Julius Hall recommended me.
All right.
Don't run away from me now. A lot of people run from me because I tell the truth. A lot of people run away from our platform because we tell it like it is.
Yes.
And so if you run away from me,
they'll find you.
You still be running later on.
That's right.
Okay.
Thank you,
so
gentlemen.
we appreciate you coming, and we got our other guests coming on. We'll be back in 1 minute with them, and we'll be calling you to see whether we can get you back on.
All right. Thank you.
All right now.
All right.
Hi, I'm Katie Brewington and I'm running for Magistrate Court Judge. Magistrate Court is often called the People's Court because people represent themselves or are pro se litigants. Magistrate Court handles civil claims up to $15,000, dispossessory proceedings, pre-warrant applications, and good behavior bonds. I'm a great candidate for judge because I have the experience, compassion, and drive to get the job done. I have been a probation officer, a criminal defense attorney, a solicitor, and a municipal court judge, and I will take all of that experience to get the job done. So remember, vote Katie Brewington, May 21st for magistrate.
Okay. I don't know where our other guests went at.
Yeah. Hold on. She meant to log out and come back in.
Yeah, especially if they're on the phone or something. Oh, she said she was gonna be in the office.
Let me see. Yeah. So, I'll set it up for them until they get back. But allegedly, and let's start with allegedly, the CEO of Catbus, which we already knew, is quite an idiot. And I just put it out there like that. We should have kept Bakara. I think that's her name. We should have kept our good sister Delta Sigma Theta. As we know, Deltas get things done right. But I don't know. Let's tell the history until they get here, because Bakara was here. Bakara was here. We had a great black woman leading Cat, and then we had some dipsticks down there who were on the board who didn't like her.
Yeah. There are some issues. I don't know. I guess they'll explain it to us in a few minutes. I just got a call from Ms. Swinton telling us, saying that they'd like to express some issues or some concerns going on at the CAT board. I mean, at the CAT system down there.
Yeah.
But
how did we end up with this lady? I mean, and I'm not a transportation specialist, but I have not heard anything good since she's taken over that role.
I don't know how we ended up with her. Bad management from the board, I guess. Different attitudes and egos getting in the way is one of the things I saw, especially when it came to the Miss Odell. But I don't know how we got to get this lady. Well, name Face something. I don't know.
That's just how much effective she is. You don't know.
Yeah. But I don't know what kind of job she's doing. These people will tell us in a minute. I don't know where Mr. Reed went at. Mr. Reed was there a minute ago, and then he disappeared. Looked like he's.
There y'all are. Oh, they must be changing rooms. I see what y'all doing. No, baby, not a whole Madam President. I'm here for the foolishness. Yes, ma'am. Good morning. Good afternoon.
Hi. I apologize. I had to get on the device. I was connected waiting, and then all of a sudden the computer just.
Don't pay your bills.
So he's connecting my laptop. I don't know. So I'm on.
Well, you're fine. If y'all want to be in the same location, y'all can.
Yeah, y'all
we're in our offices.
No, I mean, he can sit right beside you.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I don't want to get nobody.
Right. Yeah, you can sit right beside you. We ain't got to have but one on.
Yeah.
Okay.
But while while you're getting ready, just to maximize our time with you,
okay.
Can you kind of give us what's you shared this information, and before you joined us, we were talking about, and I'm not a fan of this CEO Cat, so I'm on. I think Bakara was doing well.
Yes.
The one we have now is less than smart, but we'll let you all tell us.
Where what happened was on Thursday evening, I received a call at around 9:00 p.m. stating that CAT did not have any insurance on the CAT Connect, which those are the vehicles that now take our seniors around, and the CAT Smart, which is what she started for the micro transit vehicles, that they were uninsured. So that disturbed me. So I called a few operators that drive the vehicles, and I asked them where were they, and they said that CAT pulled them to the yard at 8 p.m. and stated that something was wrong with the vehicles. So I said, okay. So the next morning I arrived to work because I also drive, but I drive fixed route. So when I arrived to work, I saw the operators for CAT Connect and CAT Smart sitting inside of the break room. So I asked, why are you sitting here? And they said, because they said something's wrong with the vehicles. So I said, okay, so this is getting fishy. So then I get a call. I start calling around, and I find out that yes, the vehicles have been they're not insured and never were. We've had these vehicles since October 2023, and the first vehicles that started driving our seniors came out January. And the second one, we were on TV launching microtransit on April 1st. So that means from January until 10:30 Friday morning, our operators have been riding our seniors plus the public at large around on Savannah and Chatham County streets without insurance.
I'm kind of puzzled. You got to get a tag.
Now you're able to get tags without insurance now, because you can go to Kroger and just pop in something and get your tag. You don't have to show insurance like you used to be able to do. So they got the tags but didn't get the insurance.
Well, how could a county government, a quasi government agency, not have their vehicles insured?
That's a good question.
Because how many vehicles are we talking about?
You're what is that about? It's 10 drivers. So how many vehicles is that? 5 on Cat Connect and 4.
Yeah, 9.
About 9.
9 vehicles and none of them insured.
No, they just got insured. She sent an email at 1 something, because what happened was I was so furious because anything could have happened. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
It could have been an incident, an accident. A senior could have failed. Somebody could have got ran over. It could have been a fatality. Not only is the operator at risk, everyone that the operator is transporting. So I was so furious because not yet did I get a call from her or anything stating that you pulled the buses off the street and what was going on. So it made me feel like you're trying to conceal what is going on. So I took it upon myself to email the board of directors and the county commission, because from my knowledge, they did not even know. So it was being covered from them.
Well, I know we talked yesterday. If you all, because this is a very important piece, what is the standard operating procedure? What is the process for getting a bus insured before, because that's important. Because what I want our viewers to know is, was a process violated? Was there a policy violated? And like you just said, how can a CEO and a whole commission not know what's going on? So walk us through, what does that process look like? What's the standard operating procedure for getting our buses insured?
So to what I know is when we order the buses, the carrier insures the delivery. Once they hit our grounds, their insurance comes off of it. So it's our responsibility to then get insured. So I know that it has to go through like procurement, safety, the different departments. But being that they weren't really too much involved with, I guess we'll say, the program itself, the heads, I'll say the leaderships, the senior leaders were more involved than the lower management.
Right.
So I guess they just did everything moving fast and did not even think about or get insurance on the vehicles. So it's like they dropped the ball.
They was more concerned about launching than anything else.
And you're talking about 9 vehicles, though. And shouldn't it be somebody that's going through a checklist and making sure that all the vehicles, everyone, even the buses, every car that they drive around in? Because I see some cat cars driving around. Every car should be under you're under the same insurance, shouldn't it?
Well, they are. They're all under the same insurance. It's just that when you get new vehicles, you have to insure them. You have to add them on there. And I feel like I told the news, when you are the head, if I'm the head of an organization, it's my responsibility. I cannot pass the blame on everybody else. It's my responsibility to make sure this union runs correctly. That's my responsibility. No matter what I designate out, I must be the one go back to make sure it's checked off and it's right. So I expect the same from the leadership there. It's not the tails, it's the head. The head has to be responsible and take accountability.
So let me ask this question. I think Chatham County, the school board, uses a different type of process for insurance, for risk management. So that's what we're talking about, risk management. Is there another way that they could have done, instead of insurance, like the different risk management options out there. Is there a different way that you all have seen that you would prefer, or just talk us through that? Because I'm thinking, well, maybe they could have done it differently and avoided all of this confusion.
They could have, wouldn't you?
The process that we had in place prior, the head of maintenance will be responsible for getting the tags, making sure the insurance is in the vehicle once they did their background check. So the maintenance department
gave it the safety.
Right. So everybody passed the buck. Everybody's going to pass the buck with this situation, because somebody got to be held accountable.
No, but see, being that its structure is different from what we had in the past, and it was restructured. Nobody is communicating at this job. Every department is like sealed off unless that the specific person or something wants them brought together. So it's like everybody's doing their own thing. It's not structurally aligned.
I get that. I get the internal piece, right? So I do know, like with Chatham County Bus for the school system, they use a risk management fund per se instead of insurance. Are there those types of options that I'm asking, like that could be employed, right? Instead of an insurance, could we have maybe a risk management fund for that, or a different type of system operation?
Well, she would have, the head would have to implement, but no, we don't have that. We have procurement, but we don't have that. We have reserve, funding, but
she in the email she got a
process. And now that all this has happened after 1 p.m. I did receive an email from her stating the process that she has implemented now. So now she has a process that will be thoroughly checked.
Well, should that process have been in place all the time? Because I don't like talking about people's management, but when there's been so many issues there at CAT since Miss, what her name, Faye something?
Miss Faye DeMassimo. Yeah.
Faye who?
DeMassimo.
DeMassimo. Since Miss DeMassimo took over, there's been a lot of issues there, and I understand that the bus drivers are not happy. I understand that the union is not happy with her performance, and they got rid of Miss
Malden,
Bakara Malden, for less than what this woman is. This woman has a history right now of just a whole lot of mess ups, and nobody's checking her. And I don't know, when you get people in leadership who can do things and want to do, I know that they got rid of the last director because of egos and attitudes and personal conflicts that shouldn't have been involved. And it's just poor leadership. You put people in place to lead, and all they want to do is act up. They're no better, and you want us to give you an opportunity to do what is right, but then you put a board in place that has people on the board that shouldn't even been on the board. And people that on the board that was illegally on the board of directors. And it just goes back to who we elect and who we put in place to lead these organizations. But I don't know. Do y'all have a big turnover rate there?
Our turnover rate is so huge. I mean, we came from not having a turnover rate for years. It used to be so hard to get into CAT. Now, right. I mean, you can just walk off the street and get into CAT. It's just our turnover rate. We hire 10, we might retain 3. Yeah, us 5 or 4. We hire 3 and 1 to come out. And when now I encourage people to look at the board meetings. We have like a selective few that actually fights for the operators and the laborers, when I feel like the rest sit back and not say anything, and you're putting strain when you see what's done wrong or you see untruths. Speak up. You are, this should be accountability. Accountability should be held, not accountability on lower management because they are doing what they're told. Accountability should be on the head. And just like you say, we fired plenty of CEOs for less than this, what's going on now, but it seems to be acceptable. And I don't know why. And it takes the
Well, it's
majority.
called privilege. That's why it's acceptable.
Exactly.
I call it what it is. You know,
Yeah.
black women can't have that same privilege. So
No,
I'll
we
call it
can't.
what it is. So hey,
Because when we do it, we're the angry black
that's
woman,
right.
or
That's right.
I've been called that now that I'm in this position. I'm an
Mhm.
angry black woman because I'm straightforward and to the point. I'm not angry. This is a job that I have to do, and my job is to protect the people. My job is to protect the laborers. So because I'm not going to stand by and allow you to do anything, and I'm very vocal about that, then I'm not angry. I'm angry that you're not running the organization the correct way and you're not being fair. It's a lot of disparate treatment there, or with management and with non-management. So it's a lot of issues that tries to get swept under the rug, and that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, if you
And
do
I
right.
want and I want to point this out because I'm not never gonna let it go. Let you like you said, when you stand up, you become an angry black woman. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Maxine Waters stand up. We had Bakara
Mm-hmm.
stand up. Keisha Gibson
Mm-hmm.
Carter stood up and she got called an angry black bitch by a white man. So I totally want I'll never let that go. We've got to
Mm-hmm.
stop doing that just because black women who number one probably are the smartest people in the room because they advocate that they got to be called less than, and we're not gonna do that anymore.
Mm-hmm. That's very true. That's very true.
How many people in your union?
We have 95 plus
95?
retirees.
Is there
Yeah.
a chance for, or is it illegal for the cat bus system and the school bus system to join and all?
It's not illegal. It's just that the school bus system have Teamsters, which is their own union. And unions don't like to step on other unions. You see what I'm saying? Like, if they didn't have anyone, even though we're Amalgamated Transit and it's bigger because Amalgamated Transit is over 48 states in the United States plus Canada. So we are the bigger union internationally, but we don't step on other unions. We would ask if the heads would want to join in forces. That would be good, but we can't step on them, and I wouldn't do that because they do have their own union.
What's a starting bus driver make?
Right now is $20,
2083.
$20.83 an hour.
Okay, well then the school systems need to be training bus drivers also for these jobs.
Yeah.
They're training for auto mechanic. They're training for firemen. They're training for pilots.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a needed service also, as being that the turnover rate is so high. But that's just something that needs to be addressed. But we do need to find out from the county commission. See, the thing is that nobody's saying anything and nobody's checking these people. What we do on this platform with all our shows, we have over 20 something shows, and we check everything. We don't care what nobody say. This is what we do. And we got to get politicians that have that same attitude, and that's who we need to start electing. We are electing our friends just because they're our friends, and then they get in and they sell out instead of electing people who are going to do the right thing.
And see, I told I stressed to my union members, and that's why I urged them to look at board meetings. You have to see who is actually fighting for you, and you have to keep that in mind when it's time to go to the polls. These people are running for office, but if they don't fight for you on the board, why would you elect them to a higher position if you don't see them fighting for you now? You have to speak with your family members. The reason that the stuff with Bakara blew up the way it did, because Bakara was respected and engaged with the operators and the community. So the operators really stood up because we are kin. You know, Savannah small. Everybody's kin. Everybody's family is big. You know, my daddy is outside out of West Savannah, so I'm kin to most people on the west side. Then I have
I know that right where you come around.
Yeah, so we are huge, you know, and it's like, you know, we made noise, and they have to make that noise all the time when it comes to when you need things done. Just because somebody is out for show or smiling on television, I don't go for that. What are you doing? You know, I don't look at Republican or Democrat. I look at what do you do for the laborers and the people. If you are for the people and the laborers, then yes. But then when you get in the seat, you are accountable to do what you say you're going to do, or we will vote you back out. And that's my mentality, and that's what I tell my members.
And let me tell you this, I just want to applaud you. You are a strong leader. I appreciate you. You die hard. You are putting yourself out there, and you mean what you say. I want to appreciate. I just want to give you your kudos. And Waki, you a smart man. Let her lead. Just chill out.
You chill out till I'm gone. Then he'll be leading.
No, I'm just saying. My daddy always said. My daddy always said, when black women talking, just shut up and let them do it.
I mainly do all the politicals.
Yeah.
I mainly do all the political aspects of it. I believe you don't even remember me. I interviewed you. I interviewed you with the.
I do.
Savannah CLC, and we
I remember you now. Yeah.
And the thing is, we, you know, we protest and we advocate for a day or two. And that's one of the things that we're trying to get people to understand. It's not a day or two process.
That's right.
It is a daily process that we get into every day. We don't stop here in what we do. Every time there's an issue, we keep bringing it up, but we can't do it by ourselves. It takes y'all to be listeners of this platform. It takes y'all to be sharers of this platform. It takes y'all to be an organization that is united. You can change things. You can make, just like all these other unions got these people coming before them, interviewing them. Y'all can make people really respect all the unions by being together and understanding that, well, if you're not going to do what we need you to do for our workers, or you're not going to do what's needed to be done for this community, then we're going to be against you. You know, we're not going to be for you. We're going to be against you. And that's what these unions and these different organizations need to do. Some of our organizations have been watered down and so weak, and like the NAACP. And I know my good friend Chad Mance is running it, but I tell it like it is, and he's a good friend of mine. And I know his hands are tied because you still got the old guard pulling the strings there. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be done, things that need to be addressed. Have you seen the NAACP addressed anything lately? We got issues.
Nothing. And I can remember when they addressed, they were on when our people had problems. Correct. And it's like, you know, we have no help. I hear people say at CAT workers, and they're like, we went down to the what's the one on Hodgson Memorial to complain. And the EOC, and then nothing's happening, you know. And I put in something a year ago, and then they say they're short staffed, but these are problems that need to be addressed. We need people in place. You have to have help, and this is just where our leadership is. Do not sit on these seats and not do anything. I'm sitting back now because I want to see what's the repercussion, because I want to see if this is taken lightly. A couple of our board directors, which are females, responded. They are the only ones responded so far. I put the whole county commission and the whole board of directors on the email, and they did respond, thanking me for, you know, letting them know what was going on. And just as I said, you know, everybody should have been responding saying thank you. But then, you know, it makes me sit back to see, what are y'all going to do? What's your next step? Is this okay? Is it acceptable? Do we just sweep it under the rug? I just don't know. I think had I been another race and a man, then I would have been okay. I'm just a powerful leader and I'm just standing up for the people. But when I'm a black woman, I'm angry or I'm mad or I'm retaliating. I have no reason to retaliate. I have a job to do. My personal and private life and my job description is two different things. So Chatham area transit needs a lot of work.
And the way to overcome that is by unity. You got to have some type of unity so you can speak. Being a black woman, they're going to listen to you. They're less likely to listen to you before they listen to a white female or a white male. They disregard it because they know that, well, they'll put the complaint in, but there's no follow-up. You got to follow up, and then the whole group has to follow up. Because what people have to understand is that when one of us have a issue, then it affects all of us eventually.
Right.
And if you keep and see, they don't mind letting you complain because they know that there's no follow-up. If the whole board, the whole organization was to come together and start making demands, if you were to come together and start making demands on these politicians, and they see how big you are and they see how united you are, as long as there's disunity, they don't care because they know it's no effect.
That's true.
So they don't care. So they can disregard you. It's a deaf ear that you're talking on. But when they see that you all are united and speaking on one accord, then they have to answer to you. And I tell people this all the time: 10 to 20 people can change the outcome of anything. All they got to do is be committed. See, we've gotten to the point where, and I'm gonna talk black because this is our black media. We are complacent with our leaders. We are content with our leadership. What we have to do is hold them accountable. We don't do that. We make excuses for them, and then when platforms like this go to talk about them, they say, "Why are we talking about another black man?" We talking about another black person because they ain't shit. Because they're not doing what the hell they need to do to uplift our community when they have an opportunity to do it.
That's true.
I'm not gonna go and answer in my latter days of my life and not challenge the power. We're gonna speak truth to power every time on the platform. As long as we're here, until they close us down, we're gonna speak truth to power. And we're gonna speak it so that we can try to give, if it's one person at a time. This organization that y'all have, it can be as powerful as you make it. You need to organize with other organizations and hold people accountable. Whatever we can do to help to facilitate any of these things, then we're here to help. But they're not going to listen. Just like that email you sent out. That county commission is going to let it fall on deaf ears because you get some weak people on the council. On that commission, who are going to say, "I'm not going to say anything. Why would let them do it? Let's see what the chairman does." All these people need to be held accountable because, see, if it was a white county commission majority, they would be, and it was black leadership in these positions.
They move quick. They would have been fired. It wouldn't have been no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's a Georgia law that is broken. If you knowledgeably know that you are breaking the law, that's in contracts of chief executive officers. So you sent an email saying at 4 p.m. Thursday you knew, but still yet our buses were not off the street till 8 p.m. coming into the yard. So that's a 4-hour window. Do you know what can happen in 4 hours while you are operating a vehicle with people's lives on it? I don't think they would have thought the seriousness of this unless something really bad would have happened. And it's just thanking God that nothing did happen. But I'm just like, are they sitting actually realizing, some of them, how serious this is? That's 4 hours. That's 4 hours that no one contacted our board of directors. That's 4 hours that nobody contacted me. I didn't get contacted or get a word until the next day at 1 p.m. after I sent an email at 10 a.m. So that shows me a lot.
Yeah, it shows that we have people in place that are scared to lead. They're scared to say things. We didn't put you there just to sit there and look pretty. We didn't sit you there so you can sit there and just hold a seat. We put you there so that you can govern. And you can't be scared to govern. You got to be able to speak up, and no matter what the consequences are, you were put there by the people. So when you're in these positions, you got to be able to lead. And going back to that, with Miss whatever, Miss Faye, whatever her name was, sorry, whatever. If she didn't do a top to bottom to make sure that everything is in place and make sure that everything is ran right, what is she doing? What does she do for 8 hours a day? You got a job to do. Every department need to be in check. Everything needs to be ran correctly. You don't have time to be running around in these political circles trying to do things. You got a organization to run, and that's what I see her at every political organization event there is. And you got a job to do, Miss Faye. Do it, But anyway, any closing thoughts before we go? Y'all can tell the people what you think and what y'all tell them what we're talking about and what you're going to be doing in the next couple of days to try to rectify it.
Well, I am going to answer the email. I'll answer her email probably sometime on Monday or next week, but I'll answer the email that I sent to the board of directors, the ones that did respond. My thing to the people is it's very important to be unified. I think people don't understand. We are so against each other for small things of envy or jealousy, things that does not matter. Right now, times are not for us to be against each other. It's for us to band together for the cause. It doesn't matter your color. You are a laborer. You are a worker. You are somebody. These laws and that are being passed or trying to be passed for against labor, you work. If you go clock in or punch a clock or you have your own business, you work every day. Our seniors are being mistreated. We need to stand up. I tell them all the time when they seem to have a little slave mentality there. I was not born in that era, nor do I respect it. So don't come at me as a slave master because I am not a slave. So we have to get out of the slave mentality and get into unity and unifying so that we can hold people accountable. We have to do this. We have to have accountability. We have to get rid of who is not needed. And then our officials should be the same way. If it's not working, get rid of it and get something else. Stop being scared of media coverage, and because then you're going to start getting the wrong coverage. Nobody is upset if you get rid of something bad. They're only upset when you get rid of something good. So everybody can be replaced. Just get the organization, and all organizations all over. It's not just us, but we need to be more in unity. And that's my thoughts. Anything from you?
Dr. Bryant and Julius, y'all hear how she sounds. Y'all know she's going to international. She's going to be an international.
We're going to claim that. Oh, no. If you don't do that, you're going to run for local office. So you better pick your choice.
No. I don't even want to. I just want to get these people where they need to be. And then
you're too smart, you're too gifted. You got an anointing on you.
Yeah, I hear that a lot. I've heard that since I was young, but I'm just passionate about what I do. And, I come from a long line of strong Black women. And I mean, I'm just not going to sit down. It doesn't matter the consequences. Somebody asked me the other day, do you think you'll get fired for going on the news? I said, I am God. God put me here. I don't care about man, politics, power. All of that is not above God. You have to take accountability for what you do. So if God remove me, then it'll be His will. I say I don't work or stand down like that. So no, I'm okay.
All right. Well, anything you got, Julius? So we ready to roll out of here?
Yeah. We'll have y'all back with an update probably in a week or so after you see what happens, and we can go from there and see how we can address it. One of the things that I just want to say before we go is that there needs to be a coming together of our community. Our community, and I'm talking to African American all over the country. We're the most unorganized, disunified, or ununified entity, a group of people on the planet. And until we understand that we can get things done with our numbers, because they listen to numbers, they respect numbers. Until they understand, until we understand that, and stop being lazy. Stop saying I can't make the meeting. Stop saying I got to go do this here. Or my show comes on at that time. Or it's raining outside. Or it's too cold. Sacrifice. See, because we're selfish. We've been groomed to be a selfish people. And until we stop being selfish and understand that it's not about us, it's about our kids, our grandkids, and everything coming behind us. We didn't survive this long because we're just good-looking people. We survived this long because it's in our DNA to survive. But imagine how powerful we'll be on one accord. All of us. And that's my message to the people. You have to be able to stand up and say, I'm going to sacrifice my time and come to this meeting. I'm going to sacrifice and be engaged and be involved and be counted in that number, and that's what we got to do. The only way we're going to change things is by being unified.
Yeah, we're going to get with you all because I do want you to get us, like in touch with different union leaders where we really need to sit down and, get a meeting going.
Yeah. And that'd be great because then you make people, address your issues. And they have to, because see, if it's 300 of y'all meeting and there's 300 of y'all in that organization, say all 300 of y'all go in the corner holding that other person's sign against that person that wouldn't listen to you. Say all 300 of y'all are on actively advocating and knocking on doors for that other candidate because this one won't listen to you. That, believe me, that's powerful. It's powerful, but we got to understand our power.
That's true.
All right.
Well, we thank you for having us.
We appreciate y'all for coming.
All
Anytime y'all got an issue, y'all know my number. Just give me a call, lock me in. Y'all got Dr. Bryant's number. Give us a call, Dr. Torre. We're the three that mostly Charlie Brown. If y'all know Mr. Brown, just call us. And we're going to get on top of whatever is an issue that affects our community, is a detriment to anything in our community. We're going to address it. And so just give us a call, and we'll be glad to put you on one of all these shows. We got shows 7 days a week. So y'all, all y'all got to do is give us a call, and we'll put you on. Okay.
Right. Thank you. And thank you, Dr. Bryan, also. And thank you, Mr. Hall.
All right. Well, y'all take care.
Okay, you too.
All right. Well, Jules, I think we're done. We'll be back next Saturday, same time, same bat channel.
Okay. All right.
All right. We'll see y'all then. Let's see. Let's get on there.
I like that.